load up my character sheet and we're all set.
Alright, and looks like we're streaming to your Twitch channel now, so we're good to go.
Will it be difficult to get the visual from here and the chatter in?
No.
No. OBS picks up audio from all sources on my PC. You can actually go watch the stream really quick to confirm that, because I don't want to, because that's going to create a sound loop.
It's probably on a large enough delay that won't actually happen, but I'll check it anyway.
Yeah, it is. I just checked.
Okay, we're all here. Excellent. It's dawn, just before the break of dawn, actually, and Landrin awakes in his room. Seems he's the only person awake at this hour. By the silence in the inn around him. What are you doing?
Taking a moment to wake up. I am actually kind of tired, so this works out pretty well. Ah, surprisingly good night's sleep, considering. On that racket before.
As the barest, tiniest hints of sunlight stream in through your window, you remember the advice you'd given Kaylee the evening before. Now, did Kaylee follow this advice, and has she gone off to hunt a creature by herself?
Is Kaylee awake at this point?
That's up to you. I don't know. I'm asking you if you went to hunt your creature or not.
Yes, she would have gone to go fight her creature.
How's the old lady?
Now she is intrigued.
Lovely. Ace?
How's the old lady that you drugged?
Nobody knows.
How's old Greta?
You'll have to investigate that yourself later.
Oh boy.
Well, no. Before she leaves the inn room, she's gonna go check on the woman because,
She
the
appears to be
basic
just
check.
asleep.
So she's asleep? Okay. Well, then Kaylee is gonna look over after studying the woman, relieved that nothing appears to be wrong at the moment. Drape the blanket that she, the old lady, in.
Also, you're in a wind tunnel or something there still?
He's just eating his mic, that's all.
Okay.
I'll close my windows,
He is in a wind tunnel.
I guess.
Anyway, as you creep out of the inn, you notice that it's surprisingly still not empty, with several figures draped over tables, snoring into their mugs.
Really surprising?
No, not really. It's just something that you notice. It's not surprising.
Well, then
Feel free.
I'll try and be quiet and I make my way.
You have no difficulty bypassing the sleeping drunks. front door, however, is closed.
I will go to open the door.
The door is locked.
Oh, I feel like I need to point this out because I just realized the windows are boarded up still from the previous use of this inn template.
That's intentional.
Okay.
The only two windows in this inn.
Oh,
ones in
okay.
the room.
I thought that you guys boarded those up with the. Okay.
We did, but I guess this room only has. Oh,
Only
so
has
there was...
2 windows, 3 windows.
Okay,
Oh,
so there
alright.
was a window in my room. There were 2
There were
windows.
2.
Okay, then I'm gonna make my way back to my room and try to go out a window. Well, first I'm gonna look out the window to see what exactly is waiting for me on the other side.
Choose a window.
Okay.
Beyond the window is the backyard of this tavern, which is basically just dead grass.
Okay. Is it far down, or is it
No,
just...
it's ground level.
Okay. Then I'm gonna crawl through the window.
As you open the window, it creaks loudly.
Haley looks over to the old...
The woman doesn't stir.
In her haste, she takes the room key out of the door. 'Cause I think it's still there.
Yes, it is.
Yep. I'm gonna take the room key out of the door, put it in my bag, and then just continue opening the window and head on out.
Once more, the window creaks ominously loudly. So loudly, in fact, that you're surprised everybody in the inn isn't awake.
Well, they need to oil these windows.
You gotta say that like Kaylee would, though.
Oh, but this is the voice in her head, because she wouldn't actually say it out loud.
So the voice in her head is just you.
Sounds like me.
Sylph's character's voice in head is Sylph himself. That's not creepy at all. Moving on.
Moving on.
You crawl out the window and land on the ground quietly. Though your attempts at stealth at this point are probably mute. Whether the window is made.
Yeah. It's the attempt that matters,
Of course.
not the result.
Well, you're now outside. Where are you going from here?
Okay, so but I have knowledge in nature. Can I roll knowledge in nature to try and
Try and work out where the hell you've got to go?
yes.
Yes.
See, that's a
Also, Anzu, are you still wandering around town?
Also, I'll be right back. I'm gonna walk the dog over because he needs to go pee pee. I'll be back.
Couldn't you have said that in a more dignified way?
Yeah, you really could have.
My dog must take a urination. That's
Stop.
what I'm
Stop.
saying.
March.
Still,
Just say go to the
still
bathroom.
missing the mark just a little bit.
Just go.
Yeah, just
All right, 29 on knowledge in nature. According to the
from
knowledge
from
that
what little you know about wolves in general, you suspect that they'll be close to a water source and somewhat deep within the woods.
All right. Do I see any water sources? Is there like a river by the
There
town?
is a river not right by the town. You cross the bridge across it to get here.
True. All right, I'll head back in the direction of the river.
Alrighty then. Are you near your window, Landrin?
well, I'm getting dressed.
So no.
Yeah. No.
Very well. Anzu, where are you in town? Okay, do a perception check for me. Also, you need to do a hide check if you're going to attempt to hide from people in town, Kaylee.
Nope.
Okay, just a perception check then for me, Anzu. You immediately spot a very familiar figure heading towards the bridge.
Oh. Uh-oh. Can I have had it to where she prepped her potions before she left?
Yeah, you don't have to do that in advance unless you're in a hostile environment.
Okay. Well, then she prepped all her potions before she left. The reason why she wanted
I just assume if you're sleeping in a safe place or a tavern or where you're not constantly surrounded by possible monster attacks, you'll prep all your things in advance.
Okay. Then, yes. Be heading off into the woods, and I'll be in
You've
my
been spotted and
alchemist's-
shouted at by a ghost. Also, you have to have text to speech enabled for Anzu, by the way, if you haven't.
Wait, how do I do that?
You mean in the Discord?
Yeah, you need to have Anzu TTS highlighted as your chat channel,
Oh.
or just change Discord settings so it'll take text to speech from any channel.
There we go. Yeah. I thought I would just do it. I didn't realize I had to have it highlighted.
You don't if you have your settings changed, so every chat channel will broadcast text to speech.
Mm.
But otherwise, you do.
Okay, well, hers is highlighted now, so we should be able to hear her TTS chat
Indeed.
now.
Just to repeat her, he spotted Kaylee and asked where she was going.
What? And Kaylee does a double take. Is Anzu visible?
Is Anzu visible? Yep, she's visible. Currently skipping towards.
Oh, good morning there. Can't get much sleep. I mean, do you sleep?
Anzu does not sleep.
At all.
Reba said morning Miss KK. I don't think I sleep.
Oh. Yes, that'd be a problem. Well, it's, good morning to you all the same. What have you been doing in the wee hours?
You continue to walk as you talk, or
Making perception checks, just to keep my eyes open.
just asking if you're still
Reba
walking
said
or you're
just
standing
wandering
in town.
around town. Harvest is a twat and can't use magic, so he had me sniffing around. Where are we going?
I'm on a hunt to get a toe of a creature. Something for me, Mum.
Reba said a toe. Is it a big toe? Are you going to make toe jam?
I'm not entirely sure. My mum just wanted a toe.
As you
Reba
wander-
said your mom
wander
is weird.
through town towards the bridge, you don't notice anything out of the ordinary, besides a couple of guards blearily looking at you as you exit the gates.
As passing by them, Haley greets herself. Oh, good morning, gents.
They grunt at her and her ghostly companion.
People are just not for the morning.
passed through the gate without incident, obviously, and now are soon headed towards the bridge. Where shall you head now?
Reba said I didn't used to be a morning person, but when I was alive I hated them. I guess that's a benefit to not needing sleep. I can't wake up cranky.
That's true, dear. Morning time is not for everyone. I think Beasties will be about by some water source. We should probably travel along the river from here. You care to join me? Might be dangerous, but then I don't really know if that hurts anymore. Reba or Kaylee tries to like very lightly poke Anzu on the shoulder to see if she can actually.
Reba said I'm always up for adventure. I need to be outside to call for a new familiar anyway.
A familiar, huh? I was wondering what kind of magic you were weak. What kind of magic uses a familiar? I've heard of the wizards that do it, but not often do they actually have one.
Reba said some wizards use familiars, sorceresses, witches, alchemist, and the odd druid use familiars.
I suppose that's true. I haven't come across any tomes for a familiar of my own. But I suppose they're out there.
Reba said, oh? Are you a druid?
No, lass.
Reba said, well, why not?
Why not? I just found a book with potions in it. I have no connection to the wilds or the lands or whatever it is that druids do. I'm not entirely sure.
Reba said, but you're from the country? Isn't being part of the land your thing?
Aye, the wild animals I'm most familiar with are those in the tavern. I appreciate the swamp, but a swamp is a swamp, dearie.
Reba said, so you're a tavern druid? Mistress of cheese and rats and drunks.
Aye, that'd be me.
You're headed north. Further up the river you go, the less easy your path becomes. Not that Anzu has this problem, since she doesn't actually need to touch the ground, but the ground is becoming more littered and littered with leaf matter and various other parts of the forest.
Parts of the forest?
As in fallen trees, various detritus, moss, etc., etc.
Reba said, I think if we strap some branches to you, you could easily pass for a druid. Then you can get a familiar of your own.
Thank you kindly, lass, but It's not really necessary. Yep.
Are Anzu's comments coming into the actual chat channel for Discord to look up?
Yes, you have to go to Anzu's text-to-speech channel.
Which channel is that?
The other chat channel in our Discord.
In the Discord,
Yeah,
Anzu
there.
TTS.
There we go. I see it now.
Reba said, so does having a book make you a wizard? They have lots of books.
Well, I am familiar with wizard magics, but not much of one myself. Can understand the nature of the magic, though. That's the magic that's used to make potions.
The further you get into the forest, you begin to see signs of creatures lurking beyond the trees.
Reba said, I'm sure if you study your book like you studied that ranger's booty, you'll become a master brewing wizard in no time.
I beg your pardon, lass. I was not studying no behinds of no rangers. I don't know where you're getting this. Flustered.
Reba said, hush, no arguing with me, there are beasties about.
Lass. That be the plan? Billy pulls out her kit.
Reba said, you
Getting
can
ready to
drool
load
over
her
his
for-
hindquarters after we murderize some monsters.
Rolls her eyes as she gets her bombs ready.
To get the impression of red eyes watching them from the trees.
Perception to see if I noticed how many pair of eyes.
Okay, you notice several pairs of eyes, 5 or 6 by your count. Roll another perception check for me, please, both of you. Kaylee notices that the eyes are smaller than she expected them to be. Whereas Anzu notices they're not actually belonging to any kind of lupine animal. As in there's several small crows looming about them in the forest.
Not as big as I expected. Make quick work of them.
Reba said, so we are here to kill crows?
Rose? Haley takes another look at him.
As she does so, one of the crows caws loudly.
False alarm then. I guess I'm just a wee bit jumpy.
Reba said yes, now that you have a hunky man to return home to, I imagine you'll be a bit more skittish and less likely to charge into battle.
Not even old enough for this kind of conversation, dearie. Talk to me when you know a bit more of what you speak of.
Reba said, I know all about the bears and a salmon.
The bears and the salmon? That's a funny phrase.
The crows is following you, and they continue to crow occasionally.
Getting the best feeling from this. Their perception roll.
Reba said yes, when the bears fall in love they go into the girl bear's den, and the salmon swim upstream to be together.
Wow, that's an adorably cute analogy there for Tiny Reba. What are you perceiving?
I'm on the lookout. These crows are making me nervous.
What about them? What are you looking for specifically?
I'm looking for my target.
Very well. You see clumps of shadowy black hair on the several rocks near the river.
Alien kneels down, picks some of it up. But isn't that a cute story?
The fur is strange to the touch, like silk, but somehow silkier.
Well, Kaylee grabs one of her empty vials and stuffs some hair inside of it.
Very well then.
Very interesting. Okay. Then puts it back in her bag. Did it look... What side of the rock was it on? Did it look like it came from downstream or upstream?
Further upstream, as several more clumps of hair lead in that direction.
Reba said it's not that sweet, the bears go into the den to fuck and the salmon is an analogy for sperm heading to the egg. I'm sure Landran salmon wouldn't mind swimming up your stream.
Jesus Christ.
That is... Dearie, where on earth did you learn to speak like that? There are moments when I swear.
Crows continue to follow you as you move upstream.
Haley now moving slower and a bit more stealthy, following the clumps along the river. Perception.
You spot the clumps getting much thicker and more concentrated in the area as you go north. What is that second roll for?
Oh,
You snap a twig as you walk forward.
okay. I really stand to be a bit more careful.
Reba said, do you plan to weave a blanket from all that hair you're gathering?
I have no idea there, lass. hair feels very silky. It could have some other properties to it.
In the distance, you hear a strange sound. But it clearly becomes much evident what that sound is.
That's cute.
That's awesome. The actual sound effects.
Kaylee gets her bombs ready.
Reva said, do you want me to scout ahead?
That'd be great. Not like they can bite you. Believe I didn't think of that sooner.
Reva said, I mean you already sacrificed me once, what's another time?
Harsh.
Your pardon? Well, Kaylee's gonna be getting her bombs ready, perturbed at all these insinuations of betrayal.
Reva said, the bear he went deep in there, fiddled around, and now a baby is bound to come about. Isn't life so fair?
You need some new stories there, lass. Not really age appropriate.
Reva, as she moves forward, comes across a rather strange sight by the river. There are several large, shadowy hounds lapping at the river with their many, many teeth sticking out, nearly piercing their tongues as they do so. Further away, there's a smaller one by a somewhat ordinary-looking wolf, except for the fact that it's pitch black and also seems to be on fire. Since the woman clearly makes very little sound, they don't immediately notice her.
Reva said, well, fuck me sideways.
Assume you've returned to Kaylee before you've said that?
Oh, there, lass.
Reva said, alright, there are more than one and one is on fire. Like a lot of fire.
Well,
Reva said, it's like Harvest pissed on it with his lava pee.
Admiral Armament Poof. He does make for a good evening. But this might be a little bit more than I signed on for. But I am curious. On fire? Was the fur itself on fire, or was it just shooting flames? Sounds like a very interesting composition.
Reva said, I think it's made of fire.
Very interesting. I don't think I have the right kind of equipment for this. She looks down at her bomb case that is of the normal bomb variety, so it does basic flame damage. We might need to come back after I find out some sort of concoction. There's got to be another formula for these bombs.
Reba said they might move on. Are you sure? Now is your chance.
Well, dear.
Reba said I
Wait.
can harry them, keeping their attention while you pick them off.
Scouting ahead is one thing. This sounds dangerous. Are you sure?
Both of you roll a hide check for me. After I do a roll. Give me 1 second.
Reba said I'm not afraid of a second death. Just let Harvest know it's his fault.
I don't know what you have against the armor for. He's a bit infuriating, but I think he means well.
Reba said and name you and the hunter's firstborn after me.
Yeah,
Okay. You both need to make a hide check for scent.
for scent.
For scent.
How does one do a hide check for scent?
Just roll. Still fails. Once more, you hear a growling sound that's somewhat ghostly. It's very particular sounding. From around the tree comes one of the shadowy hounds.
He
Reba
has a
said no
bomb
chance
at the
now, Miss
ready.
KK.
As soon as she heard the growling, she was getting her bomb ready.
The growling as the creature approaches becomes more normal sounding.
Haley backs up very slowly. 5 feet, keeping your eyes on the beast.
Doesn't immediately approach. It seems to examine the two of them for a moment, intently. Then the creature howls once more and bolts off in the other direction.
Reba said well fuck, I hope you've enough bombs.
Well? I believe I do. We'll have to see. And she's gonna ready an attack for as soon as one comes into view. He's also gonna pull out that vial of hair and set it down next to her bomb stuff. Supplies.
Okay.
Yep.
The growling and snarling grows in both number and more loudly than before. The strange, otherworldly sound to it continues. Several of the creatures become visible from
Right.
both in front of the two of them and also behind them.
Which ones would she have seen first?
I don't know. It's up to you. Which way are you facing?
Reba said I don't see the fire one, keep your eyes peeled.
And gonna throw him this way since
So you're throwing your bomb in this direction.
right there.
Alrighty-o. You know the drill. Rolling stuff.
Rolling stuff indeed. I actually get 2 attacks. Oh, that's
You miss.
okay. And they would roll a reflex flash damage.
Actually, roll a dex for me. You're next to a water source. Well then, your bomb plops into the river.
Goodbye, Kaylee.
Roll me a will save before you try to attack, Anzu. If you're trying to use your hands, anyway. You can attack. Go ahead. You miss. The wolfish creature both turn to look at the plopping sound in the river. As they do so, Anzu's hands pass right over their heads as they kneel down to sniff at the water source. One of them turns and looks at her curiously, flicking one of its ears atop its head in a very strange manner that seems not entirely natural. It sniffs her and then seems confused. None of the several hounds surrounding you make any move to get any closer than they already are. Still growling and occasionally howling. Do a knowledge check nature for me, Caleb.
Reba said Hell's Bell Saeli, these puppies are so weird, I hope you've some more tricks in your bag.
You are very certain that this is not normal behavior for wild creatures.
Kaylee tries to take another stand if she doesn't notice.
Perceive away.
Looking for signs on the hounds that look like domestication. Or
The hounds appear to be entirely wild until you catch a glimpse of one of them that seems to have a red bow tied around one of its ears.
these aren't just any wild animals. They've been trained by someone. But who?
As she says this, one of them, they seem to move closer.
Reba said probably that handsome ranger.
You keep going on about it, lass. Are you sure you're not the one with who's been smitten?
Did we lose someone?
She's back.
Reba said I'm undead so I can't feel love.
That's a dirty, dirty lie.
Seem to feel other emotions there, lass. Hey, Kaylee playfully banters while not keeping her eyes off of the three dogs approaching her.
Reba said is sarcasm an emotion?
Behind the two other shadowy hounds, there is the one that appears to be on fire. Though, at closer inspection, it's not actually fire. The fur attached to the black hound is simply flowing in the wind, appearing to be aflame. Do a knowledge check nature for me. You are immediately aware that something about this animal is wrong. It seems to move with an uncommon intelligence. Every step measured and careful as it approaches.
Interesting.
Doesn't move any closer, though it seems to the flames about its form and even its very fur and flesh seem to twist somehow in some sort of strange motion.
Reba
Do
said
all
is
of
this the thing
these-
you're supposed to get the toe of?
You were saying so?
Oh. Is the flaming one the one I was supposed to get the toe of, or was it one of the others?
It's one of the others.
One of the others. No, not this one.
You're unable to identify what type of creature this is.
Fascinating, though. Never seen
It
anything like
continues
it.
to shift and change before their very eyes. Shortly thereafter, in place of the black creature is a woman with pale hair and nearly no clothes. She steps forward. Doesn't immediately say anything to either of them, simply glaring at both of them.
Reba said, a fucking druid, look how many familiars she has.
Not the time now, lass.
The pack of shadowy hounds moves in closer as the woman glares. Their snarling growing louder. Again, the woman doesn't speak to you, but she still stares intently at both the ghostly woman and Kaylee, as if expecting some sort of explanation.
Kaylee puts her bomb stuff back to one of the side bags and raises her hands. Looks at the woman.
Stares back, still waiting.
A little alarmed by your friends over here. Sorry about the rude greeting. She looks at the woman, trying to stay polite, but still darting her eyes around the beasties.
The woman growls at her.
Alright. Do you mind if we left in peace?
Reba said, I don't think she speaks English. Poor thing is a feral druid.
Then communication's going to be rather difficult.
By the woman is a much smaller version of the hounds that accompany her. It's clearly very young, and oddly, unlike the other hounds, does not have red eyes.
Reba said, too much time with the dogs. Do you speak Sylvan?
Sylvan? I don't.
Reba said, the language of the animals.
Animals is,
Reba said, like caw-caw chirp barf woke me up.
The druid tilts her head at Reba, clearly puzzled.
think it's working. Keep going, lass.
Reba said, bark bark chirp moo.
The woman looks very offended.
Reba said, nay oink bark bark.
At that, the woman just seems to get very angry and then rapidly changes back into her other form. The hounds move forward, snarling all the while.
Reba
Dear,
said,
I
whoop, whoop,
think
whoop.
we should stop while we're behind.
Reba said, what sound do fish make? Hurry.
The same sounds we're going to make if we get any closer to this river.
The pack of hounds begins encircling Kaylee. All of them growling loudly.
Well,
What are you attacking and how are you attacking?
Reba said Saeli swim for it, I'll hold them off.
but lass, what about yourself?
Reba said I'm already dead.
But apparently that's not such a permanent state, lass.
What does that roll for? Is that your attack, and what are you attacking? Ah, good. You miss. As
Reba said
Reba.
blame Harvest. Kiss the pretty boy and go.
As Reba flails her limbs at this hound, it seems to pause a moment, looking baffled about what the woman is doing.
Just float over the water, lass. You'll be fine. There's no reason to fight these things.
Reba said oink moo chirp chirp bastards. Reba said Saeli go, the longer you take the longer I'm stuck here.
That kid turns around and dives in. Oh
Is that
boy.
your swim check?
Yeah.
Did you
Well-
take your supplies with you?
Yep.
Both you and your bag sink like a stone. Pulled upstream by the river's current. Abruptly, the non-canine wolf jumps into the river. Something about its form changing as it does so.
Oh shit.
Reba said god damn it.
You had to piss off the druid.
This is what happens when you try to speak a language you can't actually speak.
I didn't try to speak a language I didn't know how to speak. But it was a clever try.
Reba said you weren't here to piss it off for us, Paladin.
Harvest is busy camping and making breakfast somewhere in the forest.
The wolf-like creature seems to shift shades to a watery, many shades of water, while various tentacles and webbed appendages sprout from its body.
Well,
It
this
swims.
was...
It swims after Kaylee, and she feels something sharp and claw-like grasp about her armored shoulders. And then she's pulled ashore.
Well, Haley rises back up to her feet as soon as she can, perplexed, with her back against the river yet again.
The now tentacled, multicolored wolf creature just kind of stares in Anzu's direction. as if she were particularly slow.
Well, Kaylee is just gonna look very, very sorry. Very sad. General direction of the druid. Hoping that she'll understand her empathetic emotions. Though not
me a-
entirely
give-
sure if she'll understand.
Give me a roll. Just an empathy roll. It's not an ability, so you don't get a bonus for it, but roll for it anyway.
Oh shit.
The druid is clearly not paying you enough attention to get your sorry feelings. Continues to peer at Reba as if she were some kind of strange new attraction.
This might be a good time to go.
Note that you're still surrounded. This continues for some time, as Kaylee propped up against the rock by the river, Rebus flailing wildly and ineffectually at this druid, and the druid staring at her as if she were some strange new thing that was fascinating. The remaining hounds continue to sit on their haunches and wait.
Be the first time she's ever seen a ghosty deer. Can't blame her. I was a bit surprised when I first saw you myself. Kaylee nervously.
Reba said I think. I'm getting through. They are not fighting back. They must be frightened of me and think I am their new queen.
Yes, lass, that's exactly right. Don't think that that's entirely true.
Reba said ask it for its toe and let's go. I don't like how it's looking at me.
I think they'll be wanting to keep their toes, lass. I don't need it that badly.
After quite a while of this very particular situation, one of the crows flies down to land on the rock that Kaylee is resting against. It makes some rather uncrow-like noises at the strange druid. Abruptly, the woman turns back into a woman. She makes a lot of growling and hissing sounds at the crow. continues to make uncrow-like noises.
Haley looks at the crow very perplexed.
Reba said try cawing at it.
No, that didn't help us the last time, dear. Try anything hasty.
Finally, the woman, the feral woman, sighs, making some strange gesture to try and get both Reba and Kaylee's attention.
Haley is very easily... Her attention is easily gathered as she is trying to keep a watch on everything that was going on.
The woman points very, very sharply to a rather large stone in the middle of the river. As you look over this stone, you notice a strange symbol carved into it. Knowledge check nature. For both of you, or knowledge check arcana for you, Enzo.
Can I roll Arcana as well?
Yes. Evidently, Enzo doesn't know very much about druids.
So,
Sylph, however, apparently knows quite a lot about druids.
guess Sylph does.
Kaylee, anyway. You identify the symbol almost immediately as that of a druid enclave. An area of nature that's considered to be sacred and not to be hunted within.
After recognizing the mark, a bit unbelievably because she'd only ever read about them in books, looks back over at the druid and
The druid continues to glare angrily, trying to keep an eye on both of them.
really bows her head, throws up her arms, and proceeds to slowly walk, keeping her eyes on the druid.
Druid continues to watch her, though the hounds do not move aside, nor do they move forward as she approaches them.
I'm gonna have to swim across the river again, aren't I? No. Well, Kaylee is gonna edge her way across. Yeah. Keeping her head down. Time for us to go, lass.
What are you doing to this rock, by the way, Enzo? Immediately, both the crow
Lass, what you doing? Get...
and the druid woman take a sharp intake of
Reba
breath,
said, but you
looking
didn't get your jam for you toe sandwich.
incredibly offended.
Ow!
The crows in the area begin to circle around Anzu, very clearly not pleased. There are a lot of them, in fact. An entire murder. Up to 30 or 40 crows surround Anzu.
Reba said what way out. She pointed at the rock, so I came to the rock.
No, don't go out into the... This is a druidic enclave. It's a sign that this area is protected by druids. No, the rock was not the smartest thing, dearie.
Reba said whoops. Reba said sorry.
The crow, sitting on the rock that had spoken to the other druid, nods its head somewhat exasperatedly, and the crows circling the woman return to the trees.
Haley looks
Reba
over.
said bark whoops sorry.
Abruptly, the crow starts to speak in the common tongue. Lass, please do not try and butcher Sylvan by Clot. He's got a surprisingly deep voice.
We're very sorry. We didn't know that this. We had no ideas. 1,000 apologies.
Just be gone, both of you. You're clearly not from this area.
Reba said you speak common? We need a toe.
Toe?
Reba said for jam.
Toe jam. Man sounds puzzled. He makes a few uncrow-like noises at the other druid woman. She, however, seems amused and immediately digs into her very few remaining clothes for something. She withdraws a toe. It's a human toe.
Reba said look the toe you wanted Saheli.
No, not exactly.
The woman holds out the toe as if giving it an offering to the two other women.
Trying to maintain a composed face, Kaylee bows her head and holds out her hand.
The woman
Reba said well too late you get this toe and ask the bird for your proper toe.
The woman looks amused once more and pockets the human toe and ventures into one of her other few pockets, withdrawing a furred black appendage. She drops it in Kaylee's hands, then points south very, very pointedly.
Thank you very much. We're so sorry. Thank
She
you for
gets
your
a
kindness.
snarl in response. The woman, however, is still smiling.
Reba said thank you
Very-
we best friends.
Turns to the crow. Thank you very much for your kindness. And then books it south.
The crow seems to somehow manage to get a three-taloned foot to his forehead. He looks very, very annoyed. As Anzu leaves, one of the hounds licks her on the face. Surprisingly, it actually touches her. And back to town with you both.
Back to town with us both.
Reba said see that wasn't so bad very helpful those puppies, I'm sure you could have had a druid familiar.
I think I've had my fill of druidic encounters at the moment. I'll not be trifling with forces such as these again.
As they leave, they hear another long, distant howl.
Haley proceeds to pick up the pace and moving southward.
You arrive back at the bridge. In relatively short order, though Kaylee has some new scratches to her boots and several small fall scars from where she was rapidly traversing the forest. The sound of crows fades away as they pass near the bridge. Clearly, this part of the forest is not part of their sanctuary.
Thank you for your help, lass. But I recommend we take a bit more caution next time. Don't want to go offending druids.
That fucking bridge.
Where's your camp, by the way?
Well,
Reba said I feel like we made new friends. No one was offended and I found out I can speak Sylvan.
No, you can't, lass. That was what the first part of this was. You didn't look too happy with whatever it is you said.
to town. Harvest would be on the outskirts of town, probably not near the bridge, maybe like over in the bottom right-hand corner.
Okay, so you're in the slightly deeper into the forest, in the other direction.
Yes.
Okay. Oh, you have what you came for, so you may as well return to the tavern.
That's the plan. Turning to the top. We happen to pass Archer's camp on the way.
You might see, the remnants of smoke. A
Reba
smoky
said you got a
campfire to
toe,
the south.
some super silky fur. I'm sure you'll make awesome potions.
I'm gonna try my best, lass.
Also, it's now nearing afternoon. You've spent that long in the forest, trapped by druids.
Only noon and I'm already tired.
You hear? Assume you're going to be heading back to town, Arch.
Yes, Harvest would, as soon as he wakes up and finishes camp, he would write a letter, actually, and then look to see if there's anyone in town that can deliver the letter to him, or for
Okay.
him.
You hear heavy stomping sounds coming through the undergrowth to the south as you head into town.
I healed from my poisoning.
You are. You'll need to update that whenever I put the token down.
Kaylee prepares a bomb and looks
Reba said another
very
monster prepare for a
intently
fight, saw Ellie.
in said direction.
All you, Arch, need to make me a couple of dex rolls. About 4 of them.
God.
They're not anything bad for you just yet. To just see how many leaves and forest tetris is stuck to your armor.
Oh, alrighty. Do I factor in my -8 armor check to that?
Yes, you do.
Oh god, for all the dex rolls. Okay.
One more. Okay. Coming towards you is some kind of tree creature that is wearing very familiar armor.
Tree creature? It doesn't look like Harvest.
All you see is leaves, branches, and armor. Harvest can see them.
Reba said it killed Harvest and it's wearing his armor.
Harvest walks up to the two and sees them and gives a wave.
Reba said quick
Stay
buy it a
back!
beer.
We're not harming anything anymore! Stay back!
What are you on about?
The creature speaks with Harvest's voice.
What? What? Kaylee takes another look.
Roll perception.
Can Harvest start to take off the leaves?
Not just yet, but after this, yes. You catch a glimpse of a man's face underneath all of this detritus.
Reba said I've read about these. It ate him and is mimicking Harvest to lull us into a false sense of safety.
No, there is a man under there. Wait, Harvest? Why are you covered up in all those leaves?
Have you never worn armor and walked through a forest before? And Harvest starts to like pick at some of the leaves on his armor. And
Leaves
covered
come-
in sap and twigs.
He come free easy enough, though he's still quite sticky from all of the sap.
No, lad. I can't reckon to say that I have.
Exactly.
A sigh of relief just follows over Kaylee.
Harvest just walks over as he continues to keep picking off pieces of the twigs and the leaves that have accumulated all over his armor as he's made his way back into the town and just looks at the two. What are you two doing out here?
Well,
Near the bridge.
Reba
Near the
said
bridge.
making friends.
A familiar figure seems to have stuck its head out of the water, listening in.
Does Harvest see it?
Probably it's not being very subtle.
Harvest just looks over at the thing peeking out of the water and just sort of raises his eyebrow at it. Huh.
Looks at him. It's very many tentacled, multicolored things swaying in the current.
What an odd creature.
yes.
Anyway, I shall be returning to town now. Is that where you two are going?
Yes. That it is.
Reba said that's our friend, don't call her odd.
Yes, you do your well to show respect.
I see.
Harvest clearly does not
Harvest
see.
does not. He does not. And with that, he starts to make his way towards the town without another word.
Good move.
So over
You
to
don't
the
care.
druid.
Obvious.
Takes a bow. Walks towards town.
The creature jumps back into the river and swims north. And back to town with you all.
All right, with all of her things in hand.
What
packs
time
up
of
her
day is it
stuff
again?
and Gets ready to
It
go
is-
home.
Just after noon.
Okay, probably at this time of day, Landrin and Farron both would be out hunting. So they would be in town at this time.
Alright. I assume Landrin is aware of the druid conclave to the north of the village?
Yes. We'll assume that he is.
That would be something he'd probably be aware of, I imagine.
Yeah, after being here a couple months, I'm sure he's probably
Had a similar run
etched
into
out
one
their
end.
territory at this point.
Well, since you're out of town, what are you three up to?
Haley's.
Go ahead.
How to you first?
Alrighty. Well, Harvest is going to find someone to send his letter. He won't basically report about his finding of the town for the church to get. And then he would probably go see if he could find the girl that he found last time.
So Arch is sending a letter and harassing children. Very well.
Yes, of course.
Telling Harvest that she smelled? Who smelled? Oh, yes. Anzu informs Harvest that she smelled very strange scents, but no magic around the girls' camp, tent, stall.
Hmm. Strange, Sensei. Like, how?
Feel free to describe them however you like. What they smelled like is not very important, just that they were unusual.
Reba said, did I get disconnected?
No, you're still here.
I responded. I wasn't sure. Or maybe I got disconnected.
I didn't hear you if you responded. What was your response?
My response?
Yes, I didn't hear you.
Oh, I asked what it smelled like.
Ah, it just smelled particular. There's no particular scent to be picked out, but Anzu can describe the smell however she likes.
That's what I was waiting for, the description. I wasn't sure what to go on from there.
Reba said, imagine a really old wizard was reading a cookbook and farted. It smelled like that.
Did anything smell malignant by chance?
Reba said, farts tend to, but no, you're the only malignant smelling thing so far.
You can stand to be a little nicer to the armored puff.
Harvest just grunts. I see. Thank you for your assistance. And then he gives a small bow of his head and heads towards the end. Without another
Reba
word.
said, Harvest. Do you know about the bears and the salmon?
Harvest just sort of looks over his shoulder.
Don't worry about it, Harvest, you're better off.
Harvest just grunts, taking her words at value and moving to the end.
Reba
You're
said,
the
Miss
bonus.
KK wants to know about your salmon.
Oh god, she's following him. Harvest
And
just like
Pestering him about salmon, yes.
yep. And Harvest meanwhile is just staring straight ahead, as stoic as always, making his way with this little message in his hand, clanking the whole while through town.
He wanders off to the market.
market is, well, not exactly busy, but it's not as quiet as last time she was here. As the other two enter the tavern, they see Grog is not in attendance. The bar is empty.
Reba said, I mean, does your order even allow sex? I bet when I was dead before I came back you let your salmon swim up MSKK's river.
You were a part of his order, remember? You would know that.
She was more of a visitor than an actual part.
Oh, got it. Never mind.
Harvest just sort of stops as he reaches for the door at the inn and just sort of looks at the phantom and quirks his brow slightly. It is not forbidden. When we're inducted into the order, we are asked if we want to take an oath of celibacy, to give up such worldly based desires in pursuit of justice. Our order can still take beloveds, although promiscuity is highly frowned upon. And Harvest sort of grumbles out the name of his archbishop.
Reba said you put
and then
yourself
goes
in
to
the friend
room.
zone.
Yes.
Reba said, does it count as sex if you're still wearing your armor?
The tavern is surprisingly quiet.
Harvest just looks around to find the innkeeper, and it is, I believe in some circles it is.
The innkeeper is not present, though there is a note pinned to the bar top.
Harvest will read that note.
The note is written in Orcish.
Let me know when we've reached late afternoon, because that's about the time I think that I'd be returning to town.
Sure thing. The note is written in Orcish.
Reba said, what about your circle? Will you put your circle in Saeli's circle? You can make little circles.
No. I would not like that.
The only person present in the inn after much searching is your friend, the drunken fishmonger.
Harvest sighs, takes a deep breath, and stands up straight and makes his way over to the drunk fishmonger.
You're up for this one, Landon.
Oh, am I?
It's your
Yeah,
NPC
that's
lady.
Oh, yeah, Greta. I don't know if... Oh, this should be fun.
The woman seems oddly subdued. And she, for once, doesn't have a drink in her hand.
Good day, milady. How are you? Did that go through?
It did.
Sorry, I've seen red bars on my Discord, so I'm not sure if my voice is choppy or not.
Greta does not acknowledge Harvest. She just stares blankly at the wall.
The woman seems very out of it somehow, as if she was off in some sort of dream. Some time passes where she still continues not to acknowledge Harvest.
Harvest just continues to stare stoically at her. And then after about a solid minute, he just sort
Reba
of
said,
looks
did you
down
try
and
knocking?
Then he just sort of brings his hands and snaps his fingers in front of her face.
At this, she turns to him, the expression on her face blank. No,
Are you-
no fish today, dearie. Come back tomorrow.
I was not going to ask for fish. I was wondering where the innkeeper is.
No fish today. Come back tomorrow, child.
I see you have been touched in the head. My sympathies. I hope you become well, Miss. And then Harvest moves to find someone else.
The rest of the inn has no one else in it. It's empty, completely empty.
Harvest just sighs and rubs his head.
Check the lines, boy. See if we've caught something.
Harvest says nothing, opting instead to walk back out of the inn. I suppose I'll have to wait for that hunter to return. He seems like
Reba said she is almost as crazy as you.
I take offense to that.
There are, however, people outside of the inn doing various tasks. The fields nearby are being tended to. The flock of animals a few doors down is being fed. There's a man picking apples from the tree over in the distance.
Harvest is going to go to the nearby barn garden across the way to whoever is taking care of that.
Where
Right over here.
there is a rather long-faced woman tending to the garden with her 2 children doing the back-breaking labor of breaking the ground.
Reba said you take offense to most things, shouldn't you be knocking and demanding answers? I miss when you used to do that.
The only reason I was demanding answers at that time was because there was a sense of urgency. Right now, there seems to be no inherent threat to this village, and as such, I can take my leisure and be perhaps a bit more prudent.
Reba said
Harvest-
isn't that usually when threats happen?
Yes. When Harvest cruises excuse me, milady.
The woman glances over to him. Now that he's closer, you can see that she too has the dark green skin of a orcish woman, though her children do not.
Harvest looks at her, looks to the children, and then bows to both of them, or all of them. Would you happen to know where the innkeeper is?
The woman speaks in a harsh, deep tone. Oh, you're looking for the innkeeper? Who was that again? Who was the innkeeper? Oh, Grog. He's usually out of town this time of day. Goes the next town over. Should be back by nightfall.
I see. Would you happen to know if there's anywhere that I might be able to send a letter? I have a message I wish to send back to my home.
Well, where's your home?
It is to the east.
How far east?
About... And Harvest frowns and does some number crunching in his head for his bow. About 2 weeks' travel, I would reckon, near the coastline.
Well, you ain't gonna be able to nail a letter today then, she says.
Perhaps back to the old village. What was the name? Real quick, what was the name of the village that they first went to? Dawsbury?
Dawsbury.
What about to Dawsbury?
That's 2 days west, 2 days west, she says.
I believe yes, west.
Or, yeah, you could take that over to the town square. There's a small crow's nest. Just put your name in there.
Ah, a crow's nest. Thank
Be
you
sure
very
to
much.
be sure to write your address on the envelope.
I shall do so. Thank you, milady. Please, have a pleasant evening. And Harvest
She
bows
nods, going back to supervising the 2 human children working the fields.
Meanwhile, Harvest walks back towards the town center where he hopes to find the crow's nest while talking with Reba. You wouldn't happen to remember the address of Kaylee's little inn, would you?
Reba said the address of the crater we left behind? No.
Good point. Where is she, anyway?
What is Kaylee doing? Oh, she's at the market. What's she doing there?
Kaylee was wandering at the market.
Just wondering.
Well, she got the last of her
Reva
ingredients. when
said she
got
was
the
shopping
toe,
for
right?
more stuff to make toe jam with.
Yeah, she's got all of her ingredients, so she's just browsing.
She was browsing and wanted to see if the what was she selling? Herbs?
Herbs
little
and various
herb.
other things, yes.
She would have gone by her stand. She was also gonna take a look at the market area to see, like, does it seem to be a bit busier than the day before?
There seem to be foreign guests in the market, much like her and her companions, though these ones seem much more mercenary than the three of them. The girl's stand is missing today. Or rather, the stand is still there, but the girl and her ingredients are absent.
Meanwhile, Harvest talks with Reba. I suppose then that we shall have to go to the market. It at least saves me a trip for going to go find the girl again.
Kaylee is off eavesdropping about these mercenary types, and also browsing around the stands.
Reva said yeah we can go pester her.
Indeed.
Oh, is the tanner there?
The tanner is there.
Is there? Good afternoon. She smiles and winks at him.
Cool. I'll be right back. I'm gonna eat dinner. It'll take me real quick. Assume Harvest is making his way over to the inn and occasionally stop being pestering people about information. But I'll be back.
That's what we tend to assume.
Very well, what are you doing with this, tanner?
Oh, just some idle chat. And good afternoon. Thank you very kindly for the assistance.
The man gives a friendly wink and says, "Aye, always happy to help. What can I do for you today?"
Well, I'm a bit curious about. It seems like we're not the most recent tourists you've been having. Because you said there were mercenary-looking types around town yesterday, right?
Yep. Today, actually.
Today.
Oh, what you want to know about them, then? He says.
Am I curious? Not had
Curious.
the best of luck of armored men.
Well, those aren't men if you have a closer look, lass. And if she does indeed do so, all of the mercenary-looking figures are women, just very muscular women.
Meanwhile, Landrin has made his way back into town.
Indeed, it is late afternoon now.
Oh, I'm impressed.
Now, if you want to know about them, they're order of mercenaries from further west, near the Orcish homeland. Not all orcs, mind, but they're female order of mercenaries. Slay monsters, fetch people's things from dangerous locations, that sort of thing. They go by the name of the Order of the Rose or some such.
Quite a charming sounding organization. Do they come by often?
Every
Never stop
few
by
months.
Dustberry.
Every few months they pass through, heading north.
Landry makes his way to the market.
Lantern spots Kaylee, chatting with his good friend the Tanner.
Should we give the
Good
Tanner a name?
Perhaps when it comes up. He does have a name. Nobody's actually addressed his name.
Okay.
Well,
Can I roll perception to examine Kaylee's appearance?
You may.
Alright. Oops.
You notice Kaylee has a very particular set of leaves in her hair, as well as a small clump of very familiar black fur hanging from one of her boots.
I'll take it your hunt was successful then.
I suppose it was. She looks over at Landrin. However, I did learn a thing or two while I was out there.
Sounds lovely. At this, he turns to the Tanner. No luck catching the black stag yet again.
Lad, don't catch that stag soon. They're gonna think you've lost your touch.
Well, I'm not normally one to assign blame, but it has become a bit difficult with all these new people coming through these parts.
True enough, true enough. Mercenaries probably didn't help neither.
Aye.
He nods to the crew of mercenaries throughout the market.
Yes,
Might
might
be-
be a bit difficult right next to the Enclave.
The Tanner gives Kaylee a sharp look. Know about that, do you? He says.
Aye, now I do.
He gets a rather amused look about his features. Wandered right on in there and met the she-wolf, did you?
Aye. A little
Surprised.
proper warning would have been nice.
Well, most folks, if they're not completely daft, see the many stones marked on the way in before they traipse on in there. Though I suppose you followed the river, didn't see a one of them.
Eh?
Oh, I am surprised you're not dead, he says, chipperly.
Oh? Quite alive still. Thanks for the warning, Han.
No worries, he says cheerfully, giving Landrin a wink.
Landrin makes his way over to there. Would there be a butcher's stand?
There is a butcher stand.
Okay,
It's
I'll make my
got a
way
very,
over to the butcher's
very
stand.
burly man behind it. That's mostly gut.
Afternoon, Garrick. Got a small catch for you today. A couple of hares.
Oh, just some rabbits. Still no luck with that black stag of yours.
Not yet.
Been saying not yet for near on a week now, lad. Might want to give it up.
Well, Garrick, a good hunter never gives up his mark.
Well, when he gets hungry enough, he does. The butcher takes the rabbits nonetheless and strings them up on his stand, prepared to be gutted and skinned later. Still, mighty kind of you to go out of your way after your hunt for some rabbits, he says with a amused quirk of his jowl.
Well, I don't particularly like coming back to town empty-handed.
Aye, better than some like that, lad. Better than some. Man takes out one of his knives and begins preparing a rabbit.
So I see our favorite ladies have made their way back into our town again. What are they here for this time?
Who is that addressed to?
That's addressed to Garrick the Butcher regarding the Order of the Rose mercenaries.
You know those lasses, lad. They're just stopping through on their way up to whatever mission is in the north. That strange kingdom with all them knights seems to hire them a lot these days.
The sooner they would make their way out of town, the better.
Aye.
He shoots a look over to Kaylee and says, "That goes for you as well, lass. Now that you've concluded your business here, I'm sure you and your compatriots will be on your way."
Aye. That'd be the plan. I was just about to pick up some herbs though, but it seems that the poor lass hasn't opened shop.
Aye. It's that day of the week. Never opens today.
Does she just chooses not to open shop?
The man gives a furtive look in his eyes. Something like that, lass. Something like that.
I can understand that. Suppose it's not easy.
The butcher kind of grunts, setting to the more visceral work of preparing rabbit meat. It's kind of stomach churning to watch, to be in frank honesty.
Did Arch and Anzu both go AFK?
I don't know. I know Arch did.
Oh no,
Anzu's still here.
Anzu's still here.
I think she's just eavesdropping. As well as someone who's a ghost can, I suppose.
Haley leans in closer to the tanner. Well, things aside, I do appreciate your help yesterday. And I don't think I caught your name. What was your name, lad? Haley looks sheepishly and scratches the back.
The band sighs. No one ever remembers me name. Tragedy. Tragedy. He says, dramatically. Landrin also mentions that Ben ever actually introduced himself in the many months that he's known him.
Well, to be fair, you've never given me your name. And I've been here for months.
You never asked, lad. Never asked. This is clearly a lie.
Well, might I have a name of what you're called? Unless you don't mind me calling you Tanner.
Well, lass, before you ask a man his name, you should give him yours in kind.
Oh, I thought we already did.
I don't think you've actually introduced yourself to most of the people in this town. Well, perhaps your friend has, which he seems wont to do.
gets every opportunity, that lad.
Ugh.
I think I've been introduced to him 5 or 6 times
I've
now.
heard part of his life story at least a dozen times now.
Yes, I think he does a bit of introductions for the three of us. But I apologize. My name's Kaylee. Pleasure to meet you.
I'm Sven. Sven the Tanner, as people say. Mostly just the Tanner. He seems amused by the fact that very few people know his name.
Well, it was a pleasure, Finn. When do you think the lass will open up her shop once again?
Oh, probably day after tomorrow, if I had to guess, he says.
Is there a reason that she waits so long?
There might be a loss, but I doubt it's any of your business, he says reproachively.
Eh? Yeah. Seems a little young to be running the shop all on her own.
Maybe that's the case in your village, boss. There's not enough people around here for the young to not go without work. He indicates the village in general, which has several other children doing various tasks, from the back breaking to the menial.
I'm no stranger to work, Finn. But you don't often see children working on their own.
Lass hasn't got anybody else, as far as I know.
I thought you said the Tanner's name was Sven. Did I mishear that?
No, Kaylee's just pronouncing it wrong.
Oh, that's because Sylv heard it wrong.
Yeah, it's Finn, not Fen. Look how he's not correcting you, though.
Yep. Poor lass. Well, I suppose I'd be in town for a few more days then.
I am back.
Welcome back. You've been discussed while you were gone.
Landrin gives Kaylee a curious look.
Ooh.
I thought your business here didn't corroborate with your friends.
Doesn't?
And last I heard the two of you speak together, it sounded like you were going to be parting ways. So why would you linger when his business is yet concluded?
I'm interested in the wares. That young miss.
Well, you've
We're in the direction of the empty.
shown that
Reba
you're a
said she's
capable
interested
enough
in your
hunter.
wares.
Perhaps you could gather some herbs as well.
Sorry, what did you say? I couldn't hear the TTO.
Reba said she will gladly gather your herbs.
Oh, yeah.
Reba said and not the plants.
Harvest arrives, or you want me to wait?
He ceases his questioning of random passers-by and arrives at the market.
I see being dead hasn't depleted your charms.
Oh, yes, it has. Kaylee looks over at the ghost exhaustedly.
Harvest marches up, looks to Callie and nods.
Reba said tell
Ellie
him
said-
about your den mama bear saw Ellie.
Don't particularly care to know what that means.
I have no
Don't
your
want
address.
to know, lad. What is it, Harvest?
Reba said ask about his salmon.
I need your address. I must send a letter.
We're on our way there in just a few days' time. Well, I am.
Well, in that case, could you do me this favor of sending this letter to my order? I believe my captain is still stationed there.
Doubt that it is.
Then you can give it to your father. He'll know where to send it.
Why is it his responsibility to send it to the Order? The reason we were living out in a swamp was apparently to avoid your Order. I don't think he'll be sending letters.
I believe he will.
Will he? Well, then I'll take it
Yeah.
off your hands.
I thank you. And Harvest hands the letter over to her. Now, I must find the child. Where is she?
What exactly
You're
is
not
your
going to
fixation on
pester
that
poor
child?
girl, are you?
I am not going to pester her. However, my order has given me her name for a reason. There are things that I must investigate. This is a very loud dog.
Sounds like your friend is pestering my dog.
Sounds like your dog is pestering my friend.
No, Farron's well enough behaved.
I wish I could say the same of my friend.
But let's get back to you. Why exactly is your order interested in a child?
I do not.
You're not one of
know-
those kind of religious organizations, are you?
No, we are not.
I don't know about that. I saw his archdeacon at work.
Harvest just sort of sends a look at Kaylee. All I know is that there are strange things happening to someone named Elise. I think it's Elise, right?
That is correct.
Named Elise. And there is apparently only one Elise in this town. And while I was in the inn, I heard grumblings of a witch. I do not believe what is going on, but I must find out. And to that end, I must find the girl.
Well, you can rest assured no witchcraft has been occurring in this town.
We will have to see.
And what should you do if you find some?
Well,
You gotta
you
go slaying in the name of your order?
No. Our order is only supposed to slay and destroy evil and the undead. As I have, and Harvest stops and sort of looks over his shoulder to see where Reba had floated off to. Learned things are much more complex. As such, if it is evil witchcraft, then yes, I must slay it in the name of justice and the righteousness of our God. But if there is no evil to be had, then it is simply a coincidence.
Spoken like a truly ignorant zealot.
Definition
Say what you will.
needs some work.
Well, all I'm saying is, there's a reason your god abandoned you.
Is there? Would you know that reason? Care to enlighten me?
Can't say I particularly care to. Can't say I
Then why are you
particularly know.
speaking?
Easy now, Iron Man. You're the one who's a stranger in this town. No one's particularly keen to help you, save for me.
And yet you choose to mock me at every chance.
Oh God.
To make light of my words, to make light of my order. I tolerate it, but do not think that I am simply accepting.
As
Well,
they argue,
your tolerance
South,
is compliance
the
enough for me.
familiar woman to both Landrin and Kaylee approaches her in her nearly naked attire.
Harvest? Can Harvest see her?
Of course you can see her.
No, she's invisible.
Yes, only Kaylee and Landrin can see this naked druid woman walking into town.
Harvest turns, looks, raises his eyebrow, says nothing, and gives a small nod of his head while pointedly looking somewhere else.
The woman approaches Lantern and snarls at him in a very welcoming sort of way.
Well, if it isn't my favorite woman from the wilds. What brings you into town today, love?
She points south, where one of her hounds approaches, carrying a small figure. It's, young Elise, who has a rather nasty-looking, cut up her leg.
Totally speaks common. She was messing with me the whole time.
She doesn't speak common, but she understands common.
Do we have a token for Elise, or no?
No, not yet. I'm
Okay.
working on it, but
Okay.
I don't have one I like yet, so just imagine. You can imagine.
Harvest just sees this spectral dog walking with the girl over, draped over it, and starts to step toward her. What has happened?
The woman steps in front of Harvest, bares her teeth at him.
Harvest just raises his hand. I mean, no harm.
Growls, clearly annoyed that the armored man would dare approach.
Harvest, for his part, just stands there, completely trying to be as completely unobtrusive as possible. Just simply standing there.
Haley moves over and quickens her pace a bit as she notices the girl and then looks over to the druid. Oh, is the poor lass gonna be alright? What happened? Miss! And she bows her head.
Lantern will also
Woman.
begin approaching the child.
The woman whacks Kaylee with her staff, but allows Lantern to pass. Yeah, she is. Yeah, you're basically where she is.
Mhm.
Didn't need to go whacking me with your stick?
She
Growls
has
at
made
her.
it- She has made it aware that we are not to go further.
Can't help her from over here, though.
Now we don't have permission to help her now, do we? To that end, though, and he turns back to the druid, if you will permit me, I would like to see if I could help.
Harvest very, very quickly gets a staff to the face.
Ow.
Very muted reaction there.
He's been hit by worse at this point.
That is true.
As Lantern approaches, the hound that he was supposedly going to hunt drops the girl down and retreats back into the forest.
Lantern scoops the girl up into his arms. We need to get her medical attention immediately.
The wild woman gives the man another happy-sounding snarl before retreating into the forest herself.
Okay, where should we have the town?
I think probably in the center of town near the well,
Okay,
I guess. If you're going to go for a medical area.
yeah. So Lantern makes his way to the center of town.
It's after.
Harvest follows. I might be able to heal her through magic or some form of triage.
Very small
Very
sapling emerges from the road and immediately grows into a vine to smack Harvest in the face.
Ow. Over here, no healing magic.
Well, sorry, Iron Man. Looks like you're gonna have to leave this in the hands of locals. Should we make this little house this one right here?
Yeah, sure.
Okay. So we'll enter this house.
Haley looks back over at the druid woman.
She's standing on the tree line. Her eyes seem oddly distinct from this distance.
She's gonna take a close look at her ears.
Her ears are covered by her hair.
Oh, you mean the wild woman's ears, the druid? Ooh.
Yep, the wild one's ears, but she doesn't notice anything that she wouldn't normally see.
It's all just golden hair. Can't see shit.
What color is the hair of Elise?
Elise's hair is straw yellow. Apparently that's hard for to say. As they enter the small infirmary, which is also empty, they find beds and little else.
Oh, can you repeat that?
As they wander into the small infirmary, they find beds and little else, and no people in attendance.
Why the hell is that worthless physician?
You find a small note on the desk saying he's gone to the tavern. Naturally.
Do we know
Alright,
what
Iron Man.
the-
Time to prove that you're a friend of mine. Make your way over to the tavern and get the physician.
At once. Harvest nods and moves at a very brisk pace across the
Does
town.
Harvest actually know who the physician is?
Just going to yell for a physician.
Fair enough.
Is there a doctor in the house?
But
Kaylee smiles over at Farron and lets her hand out.
Harvest might just walk right through Reba in his
course.
brisk pace. Now in mission mode.
As a
He is making
comforting.
a straight line to the end. Harvest goes to the tavern.
Reba said, "What's going on?" I was busy petting the puppy.
Harvest
Dee dee.
walks through her as he speaks. Child has been sick or injured in the forest. I'm going to get the doctor.
Reba said the weird smelling kid.
Yes.
If you're in the inn now, I assume. Harvest? Begin shouting, as you do.
Is there a doctor or physician in here? The child is sick. He needs attention.
The bartender raises a bushy eyebrow. He points over to the corner where a very drunken man is currently passed out.
Barkeeper Grog, give me cold water immediately.
Grog sighs, but immediately gets out from behind the bar and pushes the armored man out of his way.
Harvest gets pushed out of the way and watches on to see what's happening. Is Grog leaving the bar?
Grog is leaving the bar. He heads toward the infirmary.
Harvest is going to go to the drunk man and pick him up and drag him along with him as he follows Grog.
Strength check, Arch. The heavily muscle-bound orc enters the infirmary, walking right through
14.
Reba once again. You lift the man, but manage it.
Must be heavy from all the beer.
He grunts at Landred, clearly asking about the situation.
I have found Grog. The physician here is incapacitated.
Well, that's just fantastic. Landrin looks over. It was Grog, right, that made the grunt?
Yep.
Seems our young Elise had wandered into the wild and gotten herself injured.
The orcish man sighs. Clearly, this is not an uncommon occurrence.
Under normal circumstances, this would be fine, except the one man that's actually trained in medicine is now completely inebriated. So, he turns to Kaylee. The fact that you had any interest in herbs leads me to believe that you have some skill as an apothecarian, is that correct?
Aye, that's be true.
Good. You can help me in treating her wound then.
Of
So-
course.
I'm gonna roll perception on the wound to examine it.
Can I roll heal on the wound to examine it as well?
You can all examine as much as you like. You know, if Harvest attempts to use divine magic again, he's probably going to get another plant to the face.
No, he's just examining it with heal, which I think is like medicine. At least
No,
that's what I was-
that's medicine. That's how you heal. Doesn't actually heal you. It's just
It's like
to-
first aid.
first aid.
Oops,
Yeah.
forgot to switch that back to...
But dog knows what's happening.
Yeah,
Revis
pretend-
said,
Dog
do
is
you
clearly,
want me to
clearly a mess.
try my luck?
the dog is
Master
actually more
physician.
perceptive than I am, I think.
That actually makes sense, though. It has additional senses to detect things with.
Hmm. But yeah, that was supposed to be Landrin, so we'll just pretend Landrin rolled a 19
Why not?
upon examining the wound.
Landrin notices that the cut is rather jagged, as if from a fallen rock or some sort of sharp, blunt instrument, but still somewhat blunt instrument. It's clearly not any kind of wound from any sort of animal.
Looks like she got carried away exploring again. Okay. We'll need... Actually, what would we need? Dude, we have gauze? Is that a thing in this world?
Yes, there are bandages and gauze
Okay.
and all sorts of very, very basic medical instruments.
Okay.
Basically anything up to needles. Needles don't exist, but everything else does.
Okay.
And
Like, pretty
We'll need
bad
some form of
technology.
antiseptic and some gauze.
Well, we are in the physician's hut, are we not? I'm sure there should be some lying around.
Well, then take a look. I'll check this side of the room, you check the other cabinets over there. Also, is Elise unconscious? She's unconscious, right?
Yes, she's
Okay.
unconscious. Though she seems not injured enough to be unconscious, which is a little bit suspicious.
I'll do another perception roll, just this time in general, like a general examination of her.
Sure thing. You find some medical tongs and gauze over in the physician's desk. Though you cannot seem to find any antiseptic anywhere, just empty bottles.
Reva said, do you mind if I touch her?
Well, there was a druid that seemed rather adamant on neither myself nor Kaylee caring for the child. You can try and see what happens. Though magic is probably ill-advised.
I don't suppose you were some sort of priestess or something in your previous life?
Reva said something like that.
Indeed.
Let's just stick with conventional methods for now, and we'll see where we go from there.
Sounds to be something proper. Kaylee looks through her own bag to see if there's anything that she could use that would be...
Harvest will also look through his adventure bag to see if there's any like gauze or anything.
See, how prepared you are.
I'm gonna examine the cabinets on my side of the room, because I said I was gonna look through those.
Sure.
Ugh.
Harvest finds a bottle of rubbing alcohol. That's as close as he has to antiseptic.
I have rubbing alcohol.
Landron finds a small pile of about 100 gold coins, but no antiseptic.
God, not only is he a drunk, he doesn't know how to keep his money hidden.
I don't think that
I
that's
have
going
the
to do
alcohol.
the trick as well as you think it will.
Do we have any swabs with which to apply it?
Alright, give me the rubbing alcohol. I'm gonna leave the gold where it's at. That's not really Landron's thing to just take other people's gold.
Sure thing. Just wanted to get you to find something for your natural 20 roll.
How does this physician not have any antiseptic in his hut?
Whatever, your friend has the rubbing alcohol. That'll work fine. Should I roll
Marcus, carefully
to
drops
apply
the
it to the
doctor's
wound? Should I roll like a heal roll or?
That is a heal roll, yes.
Okay.
Marcus carefully drops the doctor to the floor and gives Landron rubbing alcohol.
That's how. He looks over at the physician. Pass
What's
out on the
what's
floor.
Kaylee's heal modifier?
Should be heal, isn't it? Or first aid?
It should be, according to the chart, it's heal, and its ability modifier is wisdom.
Well, I was asking what Kaylee's modifier was specifically. Like I'm asking.
Mine
okay.
is 11.
Yours is 11.
She's trained well with.
Okay, maybe you should apply the rubbing alcohol then. Hey, lass. You said you had some skill as an apothecary.
She is an alchemist.
That's kind of what an apothecary is, Sarge.
Harvest says that anyway.
She looks over at Harvest's comment and shakes her head.
As redundant as
Aye.
he is armored.
Aye.
Heavily. So that was for the heal roll for you?
That was for the basic heal roll, yeah.
Okay.
This is just to apply rubbing alcohol and wrap some gauze.
Hmm.
Not to bandage up the wound.
You bandage the wound tightly after cleaning off any dirt or associated debris within the wound itself. The wound bleeds through the bandages slowly, but it seems to slow the longer they hold. As Kaylee goes to kiss the girl's forehead, a rather strange-looking plant jumps out of the floor of the keeper's hut and immediately hits her in the face.
It was Reba, actually, that went for the kiss.
Oh, yeah, and that's what I meant.
Yeah. Okay,
Yeah,
the plant
yeah.
can still hit her?
Yes, it's a very special plant.
Alright.
Hey, she's adamant on not using any magics of any sort.
Very curious.
Know the nature of the relationship between these two?
Can't say that I do. Haven't been here long enough. You, Iron Man. Get some cold water from the well, see if you can use it to wake that worthless drunk.
Very well then. Harvest says as he marches out of the house and goes straight to the well. You get a heavy, heavy bucket of water.
The vine that had smacked the ghost in the face is very curious looking to Kaylee. It's stark white and doesn't appear to actually touch anything.
Day is just full of wonders. Normally, she would try to harvest, but she's gained a newfound wisdom in messing with druids. So she's not going to. She's gonna look through her kit for her healing and her healing potion and her Polyjuice Panacea.
Very
One
well.
that she made from today, but it was basically the enthralling and healing. These will help, but I don't think that our friend would appear to be wanting me to intervene. Would you be able to give this to her? It might not seem as harmful if you do it.
What are you trying to play subversion here?
Oh, I'm trying to help the poor lass. But it's very clear that I'm not supposed to be helping.
Landrin gets the impression it's less that their help isn't appreciated, more that the druid woman doesn't trust them.
Harvest returns with his bucket of water, looks over to the doctor and lightly prods him in the stomach with his shoe. And seeing that doesn't work, proceeds to drop the bucket on him, or dump it on him.
Sorry,
Man
lass. I
lurches
appreciate the
forward
help
into
up to this
Harvest
point, but I
before-
can't say that I entirely trust you and your friends just yet. You'd best just put that back in your bag for now. I think we've done enough anyway.
Alright.
The man lurches forward as Harvest throws water on him, grasping at the armored man before he empties the contents of his stomach directly on his armor.
I have awoken the doctor.
Congratulations there, lad.
Good then, stand him up.
Morning then, sunshine. You have a patient here.
The man looks like he's immediately about to pass out again, but kind of wobbles to his feet.
Let's just stand him
Right.
up, shall we?
This man is in no position to care for a patient.
Oh no, but he needs to get up. He needs to go inside.
Is there a reason he needs to go inside?
Oh, I thought that this was all the splashing of the water was happening outside.
No,
It
Harvest
is.
went right to be inside and poured it on him in his own house.
No, you're at the door. You're not in the house.
Okay, yeah, let's bring him in. We'll just bring him into the house then.
And Harvest goes to lift up the man.
Set him at the table.
The man is sat at the table, still looking rather ill-composed.
Well, I'd say this is about as good as it's gonna get for now. I'll stay here to oversee things. I think the three of you should just be on your way.
I cannot do that. This child is critical to my investigation.
Yes, but she's not going anywhere right now. Just go back to the pub for now.
I will refuse. Her well-being is critical to me, and as such, I shall stay here until she recovers.
Look, holy man, it's pretty clear that I'm not the only one that doesn't want you here.
Tough shit.
Apparently, our holy man swears.
I guess so.
He's had about enough of it.
I'm surprised out of the 7 years of travel that this is the first time he's ever encountering it, because every village he's been to so far has been like this.
It's his first trip out into the outskirts of human civilization, I imagine.
Yeah, he hasn't gone this far out before, and he's gone to some villages where, you know, had animosity towards him, but his mission will always come first. And the villages that he has been into when he first started traveling were usually in enough dire peril that they were like, oh, thank God, Paladin, please go murder the undead for us.
I'm gonna roll a sense motive on Harvest.
Sure thing. Well then, you get a very thorough glimpse at the man's motives, what drives him towards his goals. Even his order, you suspect he's not as faithful to his order as he says he is.
Well then.
You know what? I'll let you stay on the condition that you apply some healing magic to the wound.
Assuming that the druid will allow that, I shall try.
She'll allow it as long as she knows that I'm okay with it. Trust me. Have at it, hero.
Very well then. And Harvest moves over to the bedside and grabs one of the stools away from the nearby table so he can sit down beside the child. And he carefully looks her over. Should I roll a perception check to see how she is doing right now, or?
Sure, she appears to be the same. Unconscious, suspiciously unconscious, and only with a small leg wound. Just beyond those scars about her ears.
Rebus says, why do you want his magic and not my magic? She huffs.
Sorry, lass, but you're dead. Can't say I entirely trust you when it comes to healing.
Harvest, go ahead.
Rebus said I'm dead because of him, but sure, let him be the one to tend to her.
Harvest completely ignores the words from the Phantom and takes off one of his metal gauntlets and stares at it and then to the girl. And he just closes his eyes and starts to mutter a small prayer rehearsed to him as a child over and over again back when he was at the church. Try to find some semblance of faith, like he held again when he had the sword of a Dawnbringer in his hand, just to try and get back some of that passion, some of that energy for the sake of this little girl.
Does he then rest his hand upon the little girl?
He does.
A very, very small trickle of light travels from his hand to the girl, that it seems to do absolutely nothing.
Oh, now this is truly spectacular.
Harvest, still not listening to the people around him, still focusing harder and harder on hitting this little girl.
Again, the sputter of light emerges from his hands, but it does not enact any sort of healing effect.
Still, he keeps his eyes closed and still keeps his hand on the girl. And his free hand holds the hilt of the Dawnbringer's sword. And hope that somehow that will help supplant his fate. Just to try and remember all the good that has happened before, and all the good that there still is in humanity.
I'm gonna just roll a perception to examine Harvest's behavior during all this.
As Harvest takes up the sword, the normal glow of it fades entirely. clearly his approach to trying to reacquire his faith is not the way in which he should do so. This time, the light does not return at all.
Finally, Vincent.
Every time he remembers some positive part of his order and his conviction, it's all tainted by the things he's done to betray those oaths.
So that was just a perception roll to examine Harvest's behavior during this healing process, or attempt at a healing process.
You notice Harvest is nervous somehow, as if he was expecting something like this to happen. But desperately hoping that it wouldn't.
Finally, he removes his hand and puts his gauntlet back on and sighs. It would appear that my magic is insufficient for this task.
I get the feeling it's a little bit more than that, friend.
Haley does roll, check her head to see if there is like any sort of, like if she bumped her head or anything like that, and that's the reason why she's unconscious.
Her head is perfectly unharmed, save for the old scars about her ears.
Are you sure you're a knight of the Holy Order? Did I get cut off? I'm waiting for a response.
No.
Okay.
No, Harvest was just silent.
Oh, okay. You could have just
You need to
said.
say that then.
You gotta let me
You
know
can't
that
just
I'm
be
waiting.
silent.
I'm like sitting here waiting for
I
you.
was honestly trying to think of something to say, but nothing came to me.
Okay.
So I was like, oh, shit.
They just say Harvest says nothing.
No, I was
Simple
literally
enough.
trying to come up with something for him to say.
Okay.
And I
Okay.
couldn't come up with anything until that moment. I'm like, I got nothing. So Harvest is.
Now, see, I've heard about this sort of thing happening with paladins. You don't actually believe in your order, do you?
There are some things.
Can you say that again? I didn't really catch that. This is out of character. I actually didn't hear that.
Yeah. There are some things that I believe.
Well, apparently you're not believing in the right things.
Ain't that the truth? Haley makes her way over to the kid, trying to get a closer examination. What on earth would have caused her to go unconscious? It doesn't seem like she took any blows to the head. She's gonna roll Knowledge Arcana, see if there's anything notices that's magical about said wound.
There is nothing magical about her wound at all.
I'll be right
Sense
back.
no-
Let me
No
Need a
arcane
drink.
magic from the girl whatsoever.
Strange. Haley puts her hand to her head to check her temperature.
Her temperature seems normal. There appears to be no regular reason why she is not awake.
Her breathing is steady. She's not burning up.
No, has no fever and is breathing normally.
We should leave her to rest.
I suppose that's all she needs for now. Haley looks over at the bandages because they were bleeding through. She was bleeding through them before.
She's still doing so. They're actually quite a mess at this point.
Harvest looks over to the doctor to see if he's any more coherent.
Doctor is passed out on his table.
Kitty grabs one of the bandage supplies. Tries to apply a fresh bandage in place of the mess.
The strange plant that had grown out of the floor withers away into nothing. If anybody wants to go outside and do a perception check, that would be good.
Harvest
Haley,
shouted, since Harvest is pretty much useless.
Okay, I'm back. I'm gonna go get something to eat in a couple minutes, though.
Yeah, no worries. Let us know when. We'll
Oh,
take a
okay.
break or stuff.
Oh, all right.
Harvest stands up and makes his way out of the shack to get some fresh air and to leave everyone else to tend to the child. And
Harvest notices that the druidish woman is gone.
Hmm.
Wait, is there still a remnant of that plant? The white?
It's completely gone. It's withered away into a small pile of dust, which then itself vanishes.
Kaylee continues tending to the child's wounds. She's far more preoccupied with that than the plant. Guess break for now?
I'm pretty sure we're all still here for the moment.
Yep.
As you replace the bandages, that you notice they're getting soaked through once again. Clearly, something needs to be done about this.
There is something not right about this wound.
Harvest walks back into the house, looks around. The druid is gone.
Congratulations. Can you get me some more of that alcohol?
Unfortunately, I gave all that I had. Mayhap Reba can try something.
Alas, care to give it a shot? While this is going on, Kaylee looks inside
Reba said
the
no
wound.
no the cute hunter doesn't trust me so I won't bother.
Forget about the cute hunter. What matters more? Whatever he cares about, or this child life?
Is Roman still here? Or did he go to get food on that same day?
That's what he was saying.
Oh, I thought he was going in a few minutes. Oh, never mind that.
Reba said well I don't know this kid but I want MSKK to still have her boyfriend so I shouldn't upset him.
I don't know where you're getting all this parent nonsense.
So you would rather see this child bleed to death?
a medicine check to like investigate the wound to see if there's anything strange about the nature of the
Reba
wound.
said kids die all the time to accidents. This is pretty normal. Maybe Miss KK can use the blood for one of her brews.
You disgust me. And Harvest goes back to sit by the child's side and look over the wounds himself again with a new perspective.
That's your role to examine the wound.
Yeah, I want to see if there's any reason why it keeps gushing out, like if there's anything strange about it.
And that's mine as well too.
The wound itself seems completely normal, though you notice that it's actually a lot deeper than it appears upon further examination. Likely it's just struck something important.
This isn't good.
These wounds are deep. She will bleed out eventually.
She might already be pretty deep in the tooth. Probably unconscious from the blood loss.
The girl's pulse is still strong, and she's clearly hasn't lost that much blood. Wound isn't bleeding all that fast either, it just simply won't stop doing so.
Haley, do you have no potions?
I do.
Let us try that then.
Alright.
Don't try anything
Open.
till Roman gets back.
Yeah.
How does,
break time.
Yep.
We'll start back up in a couple minutes. Or whenever Roman returns.
Reba said you really want me to give it a shot.
If the alternative is this child dying, then yes. Let us try the potions, and if that does not work, let us try your magic.
Death happens, child, but we do what we can to try to prevent it. We can. And Haley, once Roman gets back, will go to give the child.
Anywho, we will now break until Roman gets back. Do nothing else.
we switching over to Skydog's chat for now?